YouTube but not Twitter?
I'm checking right now.
I also need to grab the charger and realize I just plug my computer to make sure it doesn't die. An error occurred. We do have 12.
We are live. Say what up, Bev.
All right, people. Spinnin Backfist. We apologize. Our first solo rodeo here. Bob Fox right now is going to grab a charger real quick, just to plug in his laptop to make sure it doesn't die in the middle of this broadcast. He'll be back shortly, and we will start the episode.
We are live though on YouTube.
Genuinely appreciate everyone that's tuning in and watching. We're going solo here. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. It could be worse. We could have just got cut entirely.
I think it could be much worse. And then also
we at least are given the opportunity to keep going. So.
And like people, if you're watching, like your support matters like 100%.
We love you.
And
we love you.
Even the support before this, like it wasn't a bad sign. It was just like the whole company. It wasn't like, oh, Spinning Backfist.
Well, I think we caught kind of like a. I guess I'll say we caught a little bit of a raw deal, just that we had just started, and I think we kind of got lumped in with with everyone else who had been going for a while. And
shout out to everyone in the chat. I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat. Here comes Robbie, but Eric Clark's in the chat. Tyler Trevino, Sloppy Toppy's in the chat.
Hey, shut up, Sloppy Toppy.
What's going on, people?
But
hopefully we're live. Hopefully everyone could hear all of us. People in the chat saying like audio issues or anything or no?
No, he says if there are any audio issues, let us know in the chat because we are nobody, but we do have the ability to go live, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're live.
Here we are. We're live.
We're live. We did it. We said we would be back. We're back. Obviously, you guys were just talking about it before it came in.
Thank you, Frankie Smash,
from running across the office. You guys were talking about it before we came in. No producer this time, so we're producing it ourselves. There was a lot of talk about shows getting canceled at Barstool. I did think that the word cancel was overused.
Yeah,
it's not. That's not true.
It's not true at all.
Like shows just got their producers taken away.
Yeah,
and then it's up to the host if you want to continue. And we want it to continue. So here we are, Spinnin Backfist MMA show, produced by us. It's going to keep going. We're going to have an episode later this week on Thursday. We're going to have episodes next week. So keep tuning in, keep supporting in the chat and whatnot. And now let's talk about UFC. Let's talk about what we're actually here to talk about. Let me go. Should I go click on the card?
No, we can pull it up.
We'll pull it up.
This is a quick breakdown of last week's card, obviously. So would we say honestly, just for the people also, should we say our schedule is now like Tuesday, Thursday? Is that more realistic?
Is it permanently this week?
Or do you want
dozen?
Or do you want to just? Because I think Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday is best. This week we had the circumstances with a dozen. Everyone being here.
I think generally Monday, Thursday, I'll still be able to make work.
That works.
Oh yeah, Monday, Thursday actually works amazing for me. But we'll do live every time.
Yeah, so we're actually live. In the past, we would go live on YouTube for the premieres, but we would usually like tape the episodes earlier in the day, insert the interviews. We have no interviews on this episode. We will have interviews going forward. Later this week, we might have Don Davis back on. We're going to have two of the greatest fighters in history, Bobby Lang and Shizat the Rizat, on our episode later this week because Rough and Rowdy is also this week, May 20th, by rnr.com. Best main event ever. I was even talking to Dave earlier. I said Frank Gore had that big knockout. Do you think Frank Gore could get the winner of our title fight? And
that would be wild.
That'd be wild. And that was a vicious knockout.
He said there's a chance. He said he's managed by the Kawas that manage Masvidal. And Dave has a good relationship with them because he likes Masvidal. He's gone to like barbecues at their
Frank
house.
Gore, before he got onto that card with Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whichever one it was, he was gonna. Yeah, he was thinking about doing Rough and Rowdy. So, I mean, if he wants to keep fighting, come to Rough and Rowdy. And I think that would be like we could do it. Could we do it in Miami? I don't know.
We could. We did a Rough and Rowdy in Miami for the
Super
Bowl.
I mean,
we did Jacksonville.
Was at Jacksonville. Yeah, that was a good one. That was, what did we call it? The greatest knockout party.
That was very early. That one was legitimately insane amount of knockouts.
Yeah, I think that was. We had our Chaos with a K debut at that one, and he had the knockout where Dave famously called it like, he's going to Saturn. Here he's in Mars. He's going around the solar system. I am trying to pull up the Blachowicz versus Rakic card.
I've got it right here. First fight of the night. Honestly, this is one that we should talk about too.
Yeah, worth talking about. Yeah.
Crazy upset. Petrosky versus Maximov. Obviously, Maximov, the Diaz Army protege.
Yeah.
That was a minus like 400, 350 favorite coming into this fight. He gets put in a Darce choke within like a minute and a half. Nuts.
Very
crazy.
I was
like a
thinking
tight choke. Too.
I think
the way he tapped
He made
right
him,
away.
No, he made him. He went to sleep.
He went to
Oh,
sleep.
He was out.
There
They, like,
was a
lifted
choke
up his
later in
arm.
the night where someone tapped right away. And I was like, oh, fuck. I got confused about that.
Maybe that was.
But it was like you could see their face start going orange right away and like purple. And it just started like
Oh,
changing.
I think it
colors.
was Kudilaba actually.
Yeah.
That
No,
went
that's
out.
exactly who
That
it
tapped
was.
right away.
That's exactly who it was.
Which
You
that
saw
was a
his
wild
face start
submission,
turning
too.
colors. That was like insane.
But I think I mentioned in the last episode too that Petrovsky, like I watched an interview he did, and he literally said he wanted
Yeah.
the fight because he watched him and said, "We're the same fighter. I'm just better at everything."
Yeah.
And I guess
And I mean, he went in there and
Fact.
essentially proved
then
it
did you
immediately.
see after the fight that he said that he wanted, or he knew he was going to do first round sub? He was telling his buddies to bet first round sub. Would have loved to known that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. How can we
gotta
become
be-
his buddies?
Also, another thing too, these was it the Renzo Gracie guys in Philly?
yeah,
They're
Undefeated.
all they've all never lost.
and I
That's
guess
insane.
like Daniel Gracie or Davey something Gracie is the one that runs that Renzo Gracie.
Yes, I
And
believe so.
I think or it wasn't Anik who was on the call this weekend.
Brennan Fitzgerald.
Brendan Fitzgerald
We
was
get him
giving
on the show
credit
for sure too. He's a
Yeah.
story.
He was giving credit to that guy too. Like Renzo's probably brother, cousin. That family's just like there's a
Because
billion.
I think it's Petrovsky, it's Sean Brady, I believe, Jeremiah Wells, who actually I believe is fighting Court McGee this week.
Oh yeah.
Who I believe he's
Hopefully
two.
keep the streak going
He's
for them.
2-0 in the UFC. This is his first like.
Jeremiah Wells is
this-
fighting
this-
Court McGee this week.
Yeah, I believe either this week or next week. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's next week because Wells is impressive.
He had 2-0. He was the one who I believe he
He
was the one
came
who
in on short notice.
he beat somebody good in his first fight with a knockout, someone decent. I forget who.
and the only
And then his second fight he submitted the Blood Diamond. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was who fought Blood Diamond. Yeah, and he choked him out.
blood dimes.
So that was a
Remember the
crazy
guy
start to the
who we
card.
knew? I'm saying the right name, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Blood
It's
Diamond.
Adesanya's guy who's
Yeah.
a kickboxer.
I thought that
Was it his
somebody-
debut that he choked him out?
Yeah, it was Blood Diamond's
Yeah.
debut. Well, it was Wells' second.
And he was
fight.
kind of like hyped up. People were talking about him.
kickboxer.
and then,
Obviously, your
yeah.
name's Blood Diamond. You're gonna
Yeah,
get,
it's
and you're
pretty
Adesanya's boy.
Yeah, blood diamond. You're right. It was Walry or
Warley Alves
Yep.
knocked out, right?
yep. And that was like a UFC fight night,
Pretty
and I
impressive.
remember Felder because obviously
Oh, yeah,
he's kind of
Felder,
a Barca
he's out of there too.
Philly.
Yeah.
Or about a part of that Philly crew, and he was hyping up Jeremiah Wells a lot coming into the fight and during it. And he was like, "Dude, I was working out with this guy, and it was crazy how fast he was." And then, I mean, he knocked him out, so he was right. But I think he's an exciting prospect, Jeremiah Wells, and so is, I mean, Sean Brady's.
Oh
in-
yeah.
Sean Brady was calling out some like,
Gilbert,
maybe was it?
no, he's getting somebody probably. I mean, he's number like 6, I think, right now.
Yeah, he's. He's
I
awesome.
mean, he beat Chiesa like pretty handily
He really
in his
did.
last fight. I mean, it was pretty. I wouldn't say like dominant. Probably would be a little excessive, but handily, I would say he won the fight clearly.
Speaking of Paul Felder, sneaky good actor. I don't know if you guys knew Paul Felder is an actor on an HBO show called Hacks. He doesn't have a big role, but
Oh.
he's like the UFC fighter boyfriend of one of the girls. Sneaky good actor. I was like, damn, he's
I
got
could-
some acting chops.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Hacks,
Cross
it's
over
called?
to it's like a show about like it's Gene Smart plays like an aging comic, and then she hires like this millennial girl to start writing for her, and they very much do not mesh, but they the show they begin to mesh and whatnot.
Yeah, Brady
Worth
called out
checking out.
Poirier. That's what it was.
He's probably not going to get that, but that's a good call out.
He was like, if you
shoot
would-
for the stars.
Yeah, if you want to fight somebody, like because Poirier was,
That's a great matchup for Brady too.
yeah, he would, yeah. But it's true for the stars. Why not?
2 decisions back to back. The Angela Hill, Jandiroba fight was decent. I thought it was going to be closer just by the nature of how Angela Hill fights and how she always gets that split decision loss, like we talked about last week. But she didn't do enough to get that split decision this week. It was just unanimous.
Yeah, I mean she dominated on the ground pretty well.
Yeah,
She just got like she's good at throwing hands. Like she's got that going for her. So if you allow her to be in a stand-up fight, she's always going to be like in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Verna was just a lot for her.
Always a good fighter though. Even like her fights like this, it was an entertaining fight to watch.
It is always have. I saw people, a few different people tweeting about it. How obviously she does some work with ESPN.
Yep.
So they're always on the call. They're always like
Oh
very
yeah.
like obnoxiously
Oh, biased.
favorable. I think it was it
Spinning.
Bisping that was on it. That was like basically saying that their jujitsu was like a toss.
no, he said
Between
I
the
was
two of
tweeting
them.
off Spinning Backfist. He
a slight
He
grappling.
Like
said
a
it was
slight
slight
grappling
grappling edge.
edge.
Yeah, I tweeted it off Spinning Backfist, and then I kind of went overkill because I was so annoyed by it. I sent out like 4 tweets about ESPN's Booth and Angela Hill, but I remembered it from previous fights as well. And then leading up to it, it was the funniest thing. Like they had their package before, and they were talking about Angela Hill, and they said like great, like Angela Hill was coming off great wins off of people like Hannah Cyphers. And I was like, come on, we didn't have to say that. But Angela, I mean, somebody actually replied to Spinning Backfist, was like, why is she still on the roster? I disagree with that. She should 100%.
Oh,
be on
yeah,
the
for
roster.
sure.
Much more entertaining fights than the majority of the people in that weight division.
And she takes fights like all the time.
All the time.
She's very active. So
her record does not indicate like how she is as a fighter.
No, she takes fights
because I think she's almost 500 at this point. I think she's 13 and 12 now.
She is.
Yeah.
No, she's fought very good competition though, for sure.
Speaking of good competition, Michael Johnson versus Alan Patrick. Round 2. This was a knockout counter left and then into the ground strikes.
The ground that put him like out
back.
cold.
Oh yeah, this is pretty violent knockout. Michael Johnson back. I saw an interview with him saying he felt like he was fighting for his career, fighting for his life, fired up in the post-fight interview. I wish Bisping let him just walk off after that when he was like, let me get out of here. Am I confusing him with someone, or was that him?
That was him. He was like, I have nothing to say.
Yeah, he was like, I have nothing to say. Let me get out of here. And Bisping was like, oh, come on. Let's.
He was like, I know you have things to say. And he did.
And it just wound up being like a forgettable post-fight interview. Whereas if he just stormed out of the octagon, I feel like we would have been like, damn.
Like, what's the guy's name in the war? Like, was it Tommy
Reardon?
Tommy Reardon?
Tommy Reardon, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, just literally knocks the guy out and just doesn't even
storms out.
Doesn't even say to get his hand raised. He just leaves.
I blogged that. That's the exact comparison I made. I was like, that would have been way cooler.
But that was like, I mean, even leading up to these fights, Michael Johnson was actually looking decent in the fights. He just like made one bad decision.
True.
And Patrick even like caught him a little bit, but he bounced back well. Michael Johnson, I mean, he's not like a UFC legend, but he's put together a nice little career. And I mean, talk about a guy who's been in some good fights.
He's had so many like famous high-level opponents as well. Like Poirier,
he rolled Poirier's eyes back.
All of that. Where like, yeah, he's not a legend, but he's one of those guys that I think is respected by.
He's a staple.
He's
a staple. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I agree. He got really deep about it. Like you hear the actual like the audio from it. Him saying he was fighting for his life, like Robbie said, and him just like he was basically just saying how he had lost 4 fights in a row. And you got to think for these guys too, like it's not the NBA, NFL where you just get paid the same win or lose.
No.
Like that's 4 fights in a row that he didn't get his win bonus.
Yeah,
the first time, so probably in 2 years,
which is
that he's gotten like the.
We talk about fighter pay all the time, but like win bonus is like so
like you literally just doubled your salary for the night. And there's on me too. I felt bad. I hope that he got something. I felt bad that he didn't get a performance bonus.
Yeah,
I thought his performance was worthy.
To Caitlin, and then who?
I thought he should have got a just performance for like. Yeah. Even if it wasn't knockout of the night, I thought he should have got it.
You could have done 4 performance of the night bonuses, which they do sometimes. Giving it to Caitlin and not Amanda. I mean, it was a good fight, but you could have done no fight of the night for performance of the night.
I thought too, because I think Petrosky in my eyes, I think he got it, or if he didn't, he definitely should have.
Yeah. Also, I realized the video is choppy. Yeah. I could see it. People are putting it in the chat. That might be internet. Internet's been really bad today. We are plugged in. We're hardwired it. I hope the audio is okay. I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily like refresh on the broadcast we're on right now. So sorry about that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We just keep going.
It's independent Spinnin Backfist. You know, it's like you're at an independent MMA show, a regional MMA show, and you're like, I hope these guys make it to the UFC one day. That's what you're doing watching this.
Buy low, sell high, get in early.
Fact.
But don't ever sell. Early. Hold on. Diamond hands.
Bet the parlays every week and whatnot.
Diamond hands.
What do we got up next? Andrea KGB Lee taking a loss and a controversial one again because this girl just can't stop dating racist people, basically.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of back and forth. Oh, he meant it he's dirty in the cheating way. It was a tough soundbite. It was Tony Kelly.
Yeah,
Tony Kelly.
Tony Kelly,
UFC fighter.
Yeah.
UFC fighter. He's got a fight coming up against Adrian Yanez.
Actually, honestly, pretty good UFC fighter as well.
And he was caught in the corner saying, "Oh, they're a bunch of fucking dirty Brazilians. That's what they do. They cheat." And everyone was like, "Jesus Christ, Angela, what are you doing?"
Hold a little Kobe
Andrea.
there.
I mean, yeah. So I mean that's tough. She did wind up taking the loss. hopefully Kelly takes the loss too. I saw who was it? Gilbert Burns tweeted at Yanez. Did you see that? He was like, if you finish him, I'll give you a little extra.
His own performance of the night bonus.
Exactly.
The old
Gilbert Burns
like, bonus.
Yeah. Couple more decisions. The Jake Hadley, he took an L in this card as well.
I'll eat that one. I was hyping him up a lot.
Yeah, I think we
Cemento really showed
Dana
out
White
well.
Dana White was like, this guy better not make me look like a dickhead.
He said he was the first guy that he ever gave a contract. He missed weight on the Contender Series.
Yeah, and then he
still gave him the contract.
Made us look like dickheads. He ruined the parlay, which would have hit without him. But again, parlay, 2-leg parlay hitting without him would have been like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nascimento just actually looked good out there.
He looked really good. I was very impressed.
I think his father passed away like recently. That was a very emotional moment after. But I mean, very cool. Oliveira was in his corner. He kind of had like the Habib look. He was still kind of, he was pointing out. You could kind of see him in the background. It was pretty cool. But yeah, shout out to Nascimento, who he dominated him. It was
100%. Clear win.
Clear win, yeah.
Shout out to everyone in the chat who's saying audio is fine, show is good, keep going. Thank you for watching
God
live.
bless.
Thank you for being there, watching throughout the technical difficulties. It will get better week to week.
Yeah, we'll figure. Yeah.
Another fight that this one was, oh my God, we were talking about, we like Frank Camacho. He's been around forever. You can't really rely on him to get the wins anymore. No, you can't, because he got knocked out here. Made it a long time before getting knocked
decent.
out.
He looked decent early on, but Torres, it was a very nice combo he landed for the knockout.
Right
blow.
hook.
Really nice combo.
And then obviously Frank Camacho just face plants.
It was just, he's had some tough ones. We talked about it the last week, leading up with the Justin James fight, that he gets knocked out by a guy that really, I think, is a regional guy that took the fight on short notice and knocks him out in like 10 seconds. He's just a guy, I don't know. I just can't, it's hard to bet on him right now.
I know he's a guy MMA Reddit loves because he posts on the r/MMA.
No, no,
he's
it's
got
just
that
a
going
regular
for him.
poster. Yeah,
that's cool.
Also, I don't know if you saw him and Torres had a nice little embrace after, in kind of the back after.
I didn't see that.
And I think it was kind of because obviously he coming off the James fight. He had some really early losses, and he kind of hugged Torres. It was fun. Well, they had like kind of a language barrier. He was like talking through the translator, but he was like, that was the first time I felt alive in the cage.
Oh wow,
in like a while, like something like that. Like, he was like, you made me a better person.
Huh.
And he was like saying that through the
Good
translator.
for him. I guess you come out of that without just a flat loss. You're like, all right, I learned something.
I think he at least came out of it like, all right, I didn't go in there and just get like mollywopped.
Yeah.
I went in there, we exchanged blows, and then he got the better of me.
Yeah, he looked good though.
Yeah.
No, he didn't look bad. He didn't look. Torres looked really good. I was impressed. Like the comp really crispy.
This next fight, my girl Caitlin Chukagian versus Amanda Hebos. This was one where everyone, Caitlin gets the decisions, boring decision fighter, blah 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 blah. She got another decision here. Very entertaining fight. She went for it in this fight. Amanda brought it to her, made her fight that kind of style, and Caitlin really never backed down from it. Caitlin landed some huge shots in this fight.
I was fascinated watching it on Twitter. They were like, there was so much like discrepancy in who people thought won.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing some people say 30-27.
I was watching bias, but I did think Caitlin was landing the bigger shots.
It was people that were saying 30-27 Rebus. I don't see it. I don't see how you could even say that. I think she clearly won the first round. I thought Chukagian won second and third. Second round, like she held her on the ground for like a decent amount of time, but she just did that little. She did it a few times and successfully, where she did a little like almost like a headlock, like hip toss.
Yeah,
and she would just keep putting her in like
really
that
well.
like bad position. She would put her in like this kind of bad, like weird position where she got in her whole body on, and she just got her head like smushed in, but she wasn't like landing anything.
Caitlin did well getting out of that the first time she put her in it in the first round, because it was like, oh shit, that like could have been tight. She could have got her in a nasty position, transitioned to an arm bar or something, but she never wound up being able to do that.
Because I thought she like second round, third round, she landed a lot of really big punches. Chukagian did
a lot of like 1-2s that like you could see the chin like going back on
for sure.
Davey Grant versus Louis Smolka. Oh my God, this was a violent finish. Just a straight up ground and pound finish. Not like knocked him down to the ground. It was like a little scramble and then boom,
bang,
boom,
bang,
boom.
Bang. He was out. He was out.
Awesome finish. Like amazing to watch this happen. But
dude, Davey Grant. And the crazy thing with him is too now he's kind of had this he's almost kind of getting this reputation as like a knockout artist, and I'm pretty sure up until like 10-15 fights in his career, he had like no knockouts or only like a very few.
Yeah.
And his last few, he's had a bunch of them in the UFC. The last I think he's had knockout wins in like 3 of his last 4 fights or something like that.
I'm looking at it right now.
And the only one that he didn't was he had he lost to Marlon Vera in like a fight of the night.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
So
a
his first
relatively close
knockout
fight.
of his entire career was at UFC 251 against Martin Day.
Like crazy.
First knockout ever.
And then he knocked out, I think, Jonathan Martinez it is too.
In his next fight, and then
Mhm.
he got this knockout here. He only has 3 knockouts. They're those 3.
His hands, like in all those fights, his hand looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So that was
It's a brawler.
That was a great,
Like
great
he's like a technical brawler though.
And then we got Ryan Spann versus Ian Kudilaba. We talked about this one earlier. I cannot believe they're still letting Kudilaba walk as far forward during introductions as they do. After the incident, he's still walking forward, doing the like
Fucking Hulk.
I mean, all of it. This was what happens when the Hulk and Superman. We keep going. What happens when the Hulk and Superman fight and Superman wins? Ryan Spann.
choked him
I
out.
was very happy to see Ryan Spann get this one. We talked about it last week. I like Ryan Spann as a fighter. Ian Kudilaba, bit of a hardo. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't really. It didn't have any rooting.
I was,
interest
you know
for
what?
him.
Even though I was surprised that Kudilaba was as big of a favorite as he was.
Yeah. What
Like-
was he? Minus
Like,
2
like
something?
They had like 200. I was
Yeah.
really surprised by that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Even him to win by
Especially
finish, he was minus like 165. Like
Ryan's-
that's a lot.
Yeah.
the Ryan Spann stuff. He's so interesting from the perspective of like I feel like there's a lot of hype behind him. Then he lost, like that line almost was so wide. He was like, "Are you like telling me to take Ian here?"
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was like thinking too. I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't understand, and it almost the little Jack, you'll understand this more. Like there's like this gambling.
Yeah,
brain where
that's
it's
what I
like,
was trying to get
it's
at.
like when you see for like in like for example in like college football or just like sports, like you'll see like a ranked team versus like unranked
Yeah.
team, and they're favored. That's like what like Kudilaba is not ranked.
Yeah.
Was like a massive favorite over like a ranked guy. I know UFC rankings are obviously different, but the sharp like overthinking gambling brain part of you was like, wait, like he's a favorite. Like they're like telling me he's going to win,
That's what.
and then
Yeah.
he gets finished almost immediately.
Or like
Yeah,
Ryan
real
Spann
quick.
had
Just
something.
2 minutes into the fight.
Something happened to Ryan Spann in like whatever, like training. Someone has inside information.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean Ryan Spann, he's someone who'll be around. I mean, I'm sure Kudilaba will be around for a while.
Yeah.
And then
I
outside
think
of that,
Spann, he's up to like 12 or 10 or something like that now. He moved up a few spots in the rankings.
yeah. So
I think it was just, I mean, Anthony Smith's really good. The way Anthony Smith just like absolutely dominated him. But I mean,
Yeah.
Anthony Smith, the guy that he's fighting, if he beats Anklev, he might be like next line for a title shot
Again,
the-
yeah.
potentially.
it's crazy. Anthony Smith really
Or maybe
crawled
honestly,
his way
you
back.
want to know what I think? Well, I guess now we're towards the end of the card. We can talk about it. I was because obviously we can get like the Rakic,
Yeah, we get right into the main event.
Jan Blachowicz ending. Obviously was kind of weird. I think, in
Blew
my
his knee
opinion,
out.
it was 1-1.
I think so.
Clear
too.
one. I thought for Jan, clear 2 for Rakic.
And Rakic, I mean, he talked about it. I don't know if you saw throughout the card, they kept showing that he slept at like elevation, like in that
yeah.
chamber.
Mhm.
They were talking
Then he
about that.
said that like after the fight that his cardio was superior,
he
and
looked
you could
great.
you could feel it too,
I
not
thought
feel
they
it.
both looked great in this fight.
He said
Oh,
Like,
they
his
they came
did.
out of it
heart
being like,
rate sleeping
yeah.
was
I
37.
saw that.
That's like insane for anyone who doesn't know. That's like marathon level of
Yeah.
cardio. So I think he would have continued to take it forward, but Jan didn't look bad.
No,
I
not
thought
at
Jan
all.
looked really good. Jan landed some big
I
shots.
thought it
For
was
sure.
like I thought it was like looking back on it, probably should have been line like minus 141, plus 120, minus 120, plus 100.
Mhm.
But Rakic, I think like I mean, it's a shame what happened because first of all, you never want to see a fight end like that where it's just like a knee blows out.
Yeah.
But
Especially
also,
a fight like this where it was like so even, like it was like, where's this going? It was intriguing.
I thought it would, and I think it would have went to the cards. I don't think anyone. Maybe there could have been
I
like
feel the same way,
because Jan was throwing some big
Yeah, he
punches,
was.
and they were just
and
getting
you-
eaten.
and Rakic like he didn't catch one on the chin, but he didn't like. I don't think he. I think he almost felt out Blachowicz and was like, okay, I can stand with this guy enough that I can feel it out a little bit.
Nobody looked trepidatious, nervous, nothing
Mm.
like that. It was a good fight. I mean, it would be one like we're down the line if it makes sense again. Like I'd be down for them to run it back.
The question I had that I was thinking about before is something like that where like obviously like Jan, he gets the win, but it was not like just not a like wonderful ending. I wonder if that's enough for him to kind of put him like back in line.
It might
Or
be in
because
that division.
that's kind of what I was thinking, because in my head I was like, you know what, like the thought of like the winner of Anthony Smith Anklev fighting Blachowicz to be next in line sounds awesome, but then the other part of my brain was like, wait, there's not really anyone else there.
No, it's
So
not like it's
Blachowicz-
lightweight, yeah.
Especially if Yuri was able to win and you kind of get like a fresh blood matchup.
Yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense. And then the next in line would be like the winner of Anklev, Anthony Smith.
I do think
I think
Yuri's
that-
gonna win too.
You think who would win?
Yuri.
I kind of do too. Glover's is so fascinating though, like because if he can just get you on the ground,
Yeah, I feel like he's
Yuri's
just
so athletic, like,
fast,
it's just
so
like,
young,
what he did to Dominic Reyes was so impressive.
crazy. Yeah,
Because Dominic Reyes was tough as hell in that
Yuri's-
fight too.
Yuri just like sticks his chin out there though.
That's what I'm.
He
That's
does.
kind of what I'm saying. Like he's like, you never know.
I think
Glover
Yuri,
still hits
that
hard, man. Like,
Yuri
the way-
Glover
I mean, he
fight.
cracked.
I think I'll
Jan.
definitely be on Glover.
you have to be Connecticut. Come on,
Yeah, I know. He's the Brazilian
pride
Connecticut.
of Connecticut. Yeah.
When Tony Kelly was insulting Brazilians, he was also insulting people who lived in Connecticut because of Glover Teixeira.
True.
But Glover Teixeira, I don't know. That fight's really interesting to me. I've thought about it a lot. We're coming up on it. Yuri, but also Yuri's such a. I mean, he's like a shaman almost.
He's a wild
like,
card. He's
a
just
wild-
like he's like a samurai. He's literally a samurai. I
He's
think
a
that's
samurai.
his nickname. Like
I think he's like if Yuri wins though. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. I mean, Jan keeps saying like that was their whole narrative. The ESPN before this fight against Rakic was, oh, Jan keeps saying that he was like off coming into the card. Like I think Glover just beat him.
he
Oh,
did.
He did.
I mean, he like dropped him with a vicious left.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
if it was like oh
Big
he was
time
mentally out of it. Like I think it was just like no Glover.
I think he was just the better guy.
Yeah, and
Glover,
then-
no, Glover just brought it. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Like it, and then like Jan's doing the right thing. He's building his way back up, and who knows if he would have won that fight if the knee didn't break out. But he did take a round off Rakic. It wasn't like
Yeah.
that's like a charity one, you know.
All right, let's talk about headlines now. We can get into some headlines. That the card was good, not great. I would
it was
say.
one of those. I was at a wedding. I was having like I got to watch like some of the later fights, and then
Yeah, your wedding story.
I
that
went
was
back and
all time.
it was preposterous. Should I just tell it real
I
quick?
think for the people that missed it, yeah.
So basically, this to just give like the inside info. So people that saw the tweet, my best friend got married on Saturday, and so we went out the night before, had some drinks at like the rehearsal dinner. Like went out with like the groomsmen.
Mm.
Didn't even say how crazy. We like definitely got like pretty fucked up, but we started early. So like we went in at maybe like 12:30. Like we
Okay.
weren't out like crazy late, and like we're meeting at like one of the groomsmen's house. Like at like 12. Wedding's at 4:30, so we didn't have to get up that early. So my friend like he slept at the one groomsman's house because like you can't see the bride the day of the wedding, whatever. So he slept over there. His father lives alone. Got her. So his mother died like 10 years ago. He lives alone. So he had the tux and everything at his dad's house, who lives in the town as well. He goes over there in the morning and he's like chilling for a little bit. And then he just asks his dad, like, oh, like you got any like whatever, like Advil, like Tylenol, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I have Tylenol in my like go in my bedroom. It's in the drawer. So he goes upstairs. He sees a bottle of Advil just sitting on the counter. He just takes 3, pops them, goes on his way, like drives, then like grabs the tux, drives over to our friend's house who he'd slept at, who we were like getting ready. Like we all were going to get ready there and meet at 12. This is maybe like 10:30ish. So he goes over there and he starts feeling crazy. Like he's like, I don't, and this is one just to, like, he actually works where Jersey Jerry used to work, PSEG.
Oh, nice.
He's not like, if people were giving me a lot of shit with this, I like on my life, not a drug guy. Like he is like literally has never done drugs in his life besides like smoked weed in high school.
Okay.
A drinker, like that's it. Like there's no
Yeah.
like
So when he starts feeling off, it's a
like
very bizarre.
he's never felt like he
unfamiliar
doesn't
feeling.
he doesn't know what's happening. Like he's
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with me? Like
Yeah.
I feel crazy. So he calls his dad. He's like, yo, like what's like what's I feel like nuts. Like what was that Advil? And he's like, wait, like what do you mean the Advil? He's like, I told you like the Tylenol in the drawer. And then he's like, no, I took the Tylenol or the Advil on the dresser. And his dad was just like, oh my God, like, no, you didn't. So his dad recently, he sold their childhood house, bought a smaller house in our town, and bought a small house in Florida. So and they're people who like they love going to the Jersey Shore. They're the family I always go on the Jersey Shore with, like my second family. They don't travel very often, like long, like they don't fly very often at all.
So
The whole family. So he's a very nervous flyer. Just recently, he's going to be flying to Florida for this house. I believe he just kind of like someone gave like his girlfriend's a nurse. I think just gave him like some Xanax.
yeah.
Okay.
And he just had
Help
it
with the flight.
It's not his prescription. Sorry. It was in an I guess he put it in an Advil bottle and it was sitting on the counter because literally no one ever, he lives alone. All 3 of his kids are like married at their own houses. Like they live their own lives. No one goes to his house. So he's not thinking he needs to have this Xanax like locked up.
Child proofed.
Yeah. Like, so it happened. He took it So they're at
3 Xanax.
So he takes,
my
it was
God.
3 1 milligrams. Thank God, not 3
Okay.
like bars.
Yeah.
Jesus.
3 bars.
I mean,
the wedding
he
might
wouldn't have been able to
canceled.
do the wedding. Yeah.
So they're at my friend's house. This is before I get there. I get there at 12. This is maybe like 11:30 now. So our friend, like my friend sees him, like comes downstairs, and he said he's just standing over the table with a Gatorade bottle, just like zombied out. And he's like, "Yo, like what's wrong with you?" And he's like, "My dad fucked me."
Oh man.
He tells him, he's like, "Oh my." So they put him in his bedroom, put him to sleep. So then me and my friend that picked me up to go over there, we get there. His 2 brothers get there. So I walk in. It's like the 4 of us. Then like his like the groomsman's dad, and then like the groom's dad are both there, and everyone's just kind of sitting around the island, very like gloom.
Yes.
And we're just kind of like, what's what's going on? So they tell us what happened, and his older brother is the funniest response, like not even having anything to do with like the situation. The older brother just looks at his dad. He goes, "What's so fucking bad about your life? Like that you need Xanax?" Like he's like a retired fireman. Like he's saying like never done drugs like in his life.
Yeah.
And just like randomly, it's just so random because writing the blog, like so many people were attacking me, like, "Oh, like your like buddy must have a problem, like your dad must have a problem." Like, couldn't it be more like great, like a great time at the bar, but like other than like that, like couldn't it be more like straight edge when it comes to like drugs and like that kind of thing? So we like get him up. We put him to sleep for a little bit. One of the other groomsmen's girlfriends comes. She's a nurse.
Okay.
So she's checking on him every like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Making sure he's good. We finally get him up. Like maybe like a couple hours later, get him showered. We get him downstairs. Finally, we all like see him. He's just like very like out of it. Like he's like there, but he's like not like he's on jelly legs. Like he's like wobbling all over the place.
Oh man.
We're like we ordered like a pizza. Like we're like feeding him.
Trying to get food.
We're giving him like Red. Yeah. We went out and bought like some Red Bulls. We got him drinking Red Bull. Like the older brother made a call like to just get like a small Adderall, just to get him like a little like
a little upper.
Waited a little to take that, but like just get him up a little bit. And then, so finally, by the time we like get him dressed, like we have the party bus coming to like pick us up to bring us to the wedding. By that time, he's like there, but he's like still like not nearly 100%. But at that time, we're like, all right, like I think we're gonna be able to like pull this off.
Yeah.
So we get to the venue, we're like waiting, and I've explained before, like he's like just ultimate, like him and his family, they're all just like just a bunch of like Neanderthal like men that just love to party, like open bars, like they're like Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we had to like sit here and be like, yo, like he didn't understand, like he had no understanding of like Xanax or anything. Where like you cannot drink right now.
Yeah.
You have to wait.
Yes.
Like you're gonna die if you wait.
Yeah.
Because we get there like 3:00. He like wanted to drink. We're like, yo, you like wait till after the ceremony. You have to.
Yeah.
Have to wait. So we make him wait, do the ceremony. He only messed up like one word.
Okay.
Not bad. I think there was a you. He said a my instead of you at one point.
Do you think if you were at the wedding, you had no idea? You would have had no idea?
No,
afterwards?
you wouldn't have known.
Okay.
I don't think you would have known. We were kind of just cracking up because we were like the night before, me and all like the rooms, we were making bets like with like his brother and like our other good friends, like, yo, like what do you bet he cries or not? And I said no chance. He's just not an emotional guy.
Yeah. I
was like, he's not gonna cry in front of everybody. And they were like, nah, like he definitely is. And we like shook on the bet. And then the next day I'm like, pay up, boys.
Just watching his tear ducts the whole wedding.
Because I'm sitting there once I took the Xanax. I'm like, he's gonna be emotional.
Oh, you're right.
Like he's not gonna cry, which he didn't. Cash the tickets.
People probably like switched the bottles.
It was so, but yeah, it ended up working out. But it was just like like it literally just the whole day just felt like it was like a movie script.
Your tweets were so funny. I was at my niece's baptism. I was becoming her godfather. And we had like a little brunch, like post party thing. And I showed your tweet to like all my cousins. And I was just like, I gave them the phone and then I would watch their eyes. And once they got to the like part where it said like, it was actually Xanax, you could see all of them be like, oh no. It was so funny.
Actually, I just remember the one part that I forgot was like maybe at like 3:00 when like he was ready. So the groomsman's house we were at, like they become like best friends, like the wives. So the kids who we're at, his wife was in the bridal party and they have cameras in the house. So we turned off the one that's like in the kitchen and like flipped it over. So they were concerned because they thought it was because we were just going to drink our faces off. Because my buddy's name is Frank. He was like just breaking his wife's balls, just being like, yeah, like we're going to get so fucked up before the wedding. Cause we like kind of did that for like, either for like the house we're at Jake's wedding, like a year before.
Yeah.
And then they got mad at us because like on the party bus, we like made the guys stop for like liquor and we were just like drinking all the way down. So they thought that's what it was about. So she calls him.
Like, no, it's worse.
So she calls him and she's like, oh, like, are you drunk? And he's like, no. but his voice sounds like all fucked up. So he's like, yes, you are. Like, you're lying to me. And he's like, no, I swear to God, I'm not. Just all the time, the whole play laughing. He's like, quite frankly, it's much worse. He was like, I accidentally took Xanax. And she's like, what? Like, she's like, what do you mean?
Like, how in the world could that even happen?
Just unbelievable circumstances.
That's going to be a very funny story to tell for years to come.
That's what we were saying. Like, just the all, like, I was like, think every wedding picture you're going to see, like, you're just Barmelo's Anthony.
Yeah, Barmelo
just
Anthony.
barred out.
That's hilarious.
But it ended up working out because he ended up, by the time, like, the ceremony was over and then, like, all the pictures were done, it was like 6.
Wearing off.
So it had been like a full like 8 hours.
And he's got the Red Bull. He's got the food.
Yeah. So then he started boozing. Once he was boozing, I was worried because I was like, I hope it doesn't. But he was like normal, just like extremely drunk self. So
all right.
Not more than like usual, but it was just what a fucking day.
What a day.
And it was crazy too that no one believes me. I swear to God, none of the bridesmaids have Twitter. I swear to God.
Oh yeah, I saw people trying.
A lot. I promise you, like honestly, my friends are not like social media people. They're big. Like everyone has Instagram when they're our age, but like literally none of it. Like a few had Twitter.
None
like
of my friends have Twitter.
Most of them, like the bride and groom both don't have Twitter. Like most of the brides, I know most of the
weird
bridesmaids.
When we're in this like Barstool bubble and you like go outside and everyone's like, no, we don't have Twitter. What are you talking about? What do you want me to tweet? Like I ate a sandwich. Everyone always says that. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, pretty much. That's what you do. Yeah.
It was just it was wild.
All right. So that was probably a better fight than our main event this weekend.
Yeah,
it was the groom versus the Zans.
Yeah, he won. Faced adversity, he conquered it. It was
That's
fucking
awesome.
It was great.
Speaking of weddings, our first headline, I wrote down Carla Esparza actually promised to do this, and then she did it. She walked down the aisle wearing her UFC championship around the waist. Pretty fucking badass.
It is a great picture. Like
pretty damn cool. I saw TJ Dillashaw also did that. People reposted it. There's a picture of him with the title at his wedding and everything. So that's a quick one. It's not like we're gonna break that down, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. This one is a big news item. So after Michael Chandler called out Dustin Poirier, there's a lot of people saying, oh, that's a good fight. Make that fight. Poirier went on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, talked about the fact that he says he signed to fight Diaz twice this year. He signed his end of contract.
Accepted twice in 2022.
Yeah. He wants Colby Covington next. He said he doesn't hate Colby Covington is that line right before hate, I heard.
So I watched the whole interview. He doesn't want Colby Covington, but he will take it if that's basically the only option. So this is what he said. He said he basically has two options. He could fight at 170 this summer, or he basically would have to wait till the end of the year for a title eliminator. He was basically told you will get a title eliminator at 155, but it was basically at the end of 2022. And he's just like, I want to fight like now. Like I don't.
Why can't he do both realistically?
That's kind of what Ariel said, and he kind of was like, I don't know. It's like very weird because he actually said the first time he was going to fight Nate Diaz was literally the Anaheim pay-per-view. That was like a month after the fight with Dubras.
I remember that though. I remember Diaz being like, let's do it like in Anaheim. And he was like, all right, I'm down. Like the way they were tweeting, I remember it being like, is this going to happen this month?
He said that was the first one. Like he was literally going to fight a month after losing the belt.
Like I could see Diaz wanting to set up fights that way so he doesn't have to do as much promotion. He doesn't have to train as much. Like Diaz seems like one of those guys that wants to roll out of bed and fight.
He made it clear Diaz would be like his number one choice. He doesn't want to fight Colby. Like he's like, I don't want to give him the platform, blah, blah, blah. But
Wonder Boy threw his name in the hat. I wrote
Wonder Boy did that. So he said how like Sean Brady did as well. But he said Colby, like if that's the fight. And then now he said the UFC has officially offered him that fight.
The Colby fight.
Yes, he said that. He was already. He said the fight has been offered. He said he had not accepted it yet, but he had not said no yet either. He said give me like a few weeks.
I wonder if Colby's ready for that. You know, sometimes they offer fights to like only one side first, then the other side. Like, is Colby ready to fight with his chipped tooth?
That's kind of what I was thinking too. If he's gonna be ready in like a few months, I mean, maybe he could be.
I guess if you just have a chipped tooth, you could keep fighting, right? It's probably not even chipped anymore. Probably got.
I wouldn't think. Yeah, it was just like a mouth of face injury. Also. Just quick, the opening line I saw on that was like Colby minus like 500.
Really?
It was offshore, but it was like opening. And I honestly think
Colby wins that fight, but
I think it closes probably 4 range,
that's
4 and 3.
Wide,
I think 4 and 3 because it's a weird fight where kind of even
Colby closed like minus 280 against Masvidal.
Yeah, like 300 range, like give or take, yeah.
And I think Poirier's striking is so much better than Masvidal's.
I would put them like I think similar. I would probably give an edge to Poirier a little bit.
I just think Colby room, but I'm the biggest Colby fanboy ever. However,
I think it'd be a good fight.
That minus 500, like I don't think I'm taking that. but like,
no, how could you?
Well,
but I think he could just like I rate Colby's striking very high, not better than Poirier or Masvidal's, but it's good enough to be in the fight in terms of like he can
peppers people.
He can stand up with. I mean, he stood up with Usman for almost 10
Mhm.
rounds. Obviously, the first fight he was knocked out in the 5th, but outside of that, like he can if he can stand up with you for long enough, then he
His
will take you
volume's crazy.
down.
It's
He
just
will
crazy.
take you down. So, and his cardio is insane too.
Yeah.
But
when I say volume, it's not just the strikes too. Like the amount of takedowns he'll be able to throw.
That's the thing. Like
he'll be able to throw and throw and throw and throw.
He'll lose. He won't take you down, but like it may take 3 or 4 times, but he's going to still he's going to keep coming and coming and coming. And yeah, I think that minus 500 makes sense, but we'll see.
That seems steep.
Yeah, he also said that like Chandler. I don't know if that fight was like offered. He said he was like he would be interested in that.
I saw them going back and forth about the numbers.
Yeah, he pretty much because I think Chandler basically just called him out saying he wasn't a draw,
and then he was like,
and then he was like, well, like my fight with Oliveira did like 200,000 more buys than yours did.
Yeah.
So like he was like, so what are we talking about?
Yeah. He was like, I was in the headlining fight on my last 3 cards, and you were just on somebody's like
undercard. Yeah, for this one. Yeah, it was like kind of it was an interesting little, not like back and forth, but he was like Ariel like played some of Chandler's audio and had him kind of like respond to it, and he didn't really like freak out. He just was kind of like. They kind of were like going like back and forth, like spinning facts each other. He was like, "Oh yeah, like I called him like Michael Chandler because he's been dropped in his last 3 fights." And then I think he just mentioned how he said how he got knocked out by Michael Johnson. Yeah. He was like, I mean, what am I gonna say? He was like, it happened. It's a fact.
Yeah.
He was like, we both said Poirier was good about it. He was like, I can dish it so I can take it. He was like, yeah, that happened.
But he's against fighting Colby though. He's like, I don't want Colby.
He was
adamant. Fight him in the parking lot.
He was adamant that he didn't want to because but at this point he was basically saying like, if this is it, like I'll do it.
And I think the quote was like, I don't want Colby profiting off of my name, which is, I mean, I get it. Colby said some like pretty awful things about
Dustin is the A side in that fight.
What?
I think he's the A side in that fight in terms of people are tuning
for
in
sure.
for him and not Colby.
I thought you meant being
like
he's
the bigger star. Fought McGregor 3 times.
No, I'm with you. I was trying to
beat him twice.
When you first said it, I was thinking of you basically saying he's like the
Poirier
he's like the pro is
but that's a star.
Colby's the heel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That too, yeah.
He also Ariel mentioned like kind of like if he had interest in the McGregor fight as well. He kind of seemed like he was kind of like I guess, but like he wasn't super.
I'm sure he would take the payday. At this
he
wasn't
super like excited about it. Like he wasn't thrilled. Like he wasn't like, oh yeah, like give me McGregor.
I think he even said it. He was like, they asked him right after, and the weeks after his most recent win, he was just like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could run it back, but we've done it so many times, which I mean, I get, and like obviously, I mean, he's just. I mean,
it's like you're gonna
the last 2 times, like
you're gonna be back in that craziness. Poirier doesn't seem to like the.
I don't think he likes it.
I don't think he likes the crazy spotlight.
Well, no, they brought that up too. He said when the Colby thing happened, when he got offered it, his coach Mike Brown called him, was like he was like, just think about it for what you want with your life, like just knowing the 2 months leading up to this, that's all you're gonna deal with. That's him talking shit about your wife, your kids.
Yep.
That's all you're gonna deal with.
To a degree, you're gonna get that with McGregor too.
For sure.
Your wife is in DMs. Come on.
But McGregor, you're gonna have such a bigger.
At least the money, the money you could justify it a little bit.
And he's probably, I mean, I still value McGregor against Poirier, but I mean, it's an easier fight for him to fight McGregor than Colby, in my opinion.
Honestly, I would love him versus Chandler for
matchup wise
for a title.
He can
just stand up, and he knows
like
what
Chandler to fight Poirier.
I'm saying just matchup wise as well, because he even said it like he was just like, "How do you feel about that fight?" He was just like, "Someone's getting sparked out."
Fact.
And I was like, "I mean, yeah, probably, yeah."
They could headline without a title on that. You could just make that a pay-per-view
for sure. That's I think him and Diaz
would not want to buy that.
I think like Poirier Diaz could do the same.
You think Poirier is a bigger star than Diaz?
No.
I think I personally underrate the stardom of Nate Diaz. I don't know why, but I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong.
Like massive.
Because
I know I'm wrong.
Because I see like you see some of the real like. It's funny. Shout out Magic. I just love his tweets. Just like make me laugh and like. He's like I just see, and it's not just him. I'll see other people that have his mindset. They're just kind of like Diaz is like a bum, like he doesn't win fights. But like, there's just the part of me that like I understand that aspect of it, but I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Like I'll watch him fight every day of the week.
Yeah.
He'll take my money every single day of the week. I'll watch him fight.
Couldn't agree more.
He's just entertaining. Like, and that's why, like, I think him
He's funny too.
Him versus Poirier is like a fight I want to see. Him versus Chimaev. Listen, I will definitely watch it, but I would much rather him fight Poirier because I think they'll actually will like go toe to toe.
Yeah.
Him
and I think Nate Diaz has like I think Poirier wins, but I think Diaz can win.
Of course,
because the jiu-jitsu was good. Like I think he can like land a shot or like get him tired or like just get a hold of the neck or like a bad position or something and make it happen. And also just quickly too, Poirier touched on Ariel asked him if he had watched the Oliveira fight. He said he watched it one night. All like kids, family, everyone was asleep. He sat there. He watched it 5 times in a row.
Oh my God.
Just
Poirier?
like watched the title fight 5 times in a row.
Well, he was
and
devastated
he
that
said,
he lost it.
That's what he said. He just realized that he just like fucked up position. And then he also said after watching it 5 times in a row, he hammered Oliveira in the Gaethje fight.
Oh, really?
Because he said after he watched it, he was convinced that
he's like,
Charles was definitely going to win. He said he bet like he didn't say how much. He said he bet a lot of money on Oliveira. And he also said he bet on Chandler and a parlay of the 2 of them as well.
Wow.
So he had a really nice call.
Oh, I didn't know he was like such a better.
I know. Let's get him on the
pod. It seemed like the way he was talking that he like maybe isn't a huge better, but he just like watched the fight and just was like Poirier or Oliveira's going to win.
And I mean, great call.
Yeah, I mean, good for him.
Speaking of Oliveira, Islam said this is our 3rd point that Robbie wrote out for us. Thankfully, that Oliveira would be an easy fight for himself or Khabib. Which I disagree. Yeah,
I don't think at this point Oliveira's not an easy fight for literally anybody in his division.
I think Islam against him would be such an interesting matchup. But like, could Islam stun Oliveira?
He could. Oliveira's not unstunnable.
Well, obviously he almost wants to be stunned. That's how wakes him up. But I was wondering, thinking about Islam's his striking's fine. I think Khabib could stun him. But I
think Khabib runs over him.
I think Khabib runs over him. Khabib striking.
I don't think he stuns him. I think he runs through him. I don't think he stuns him on the feet.
I think he does. I think Khabib striking is one of the most underrated aspects in UFC history. He's Rob McGregor.
Oliveira's striking is fucking great too.
That is
sort of breaking news. McGregor just tweeted, "The date of my return is ... and then tweeted, "TikTok, my left hand is a Glock."
Nice.
And then tweeted, "I am going to crush your skull in when I get you. Cave." And then tweeted, "Ha ha 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 ha."
It's just a photo.
Construction, and it's a video of him laughing.
What is he?
Or a picture of him laughing.
Gives us a hint.
I think it's just literally construction.
Oh, it's like his construction company.
I guess so.
Okay, well that's breaking news. Thanks, Connor, for doing that.
Fucking with MMA Twitter right now.
That's the thing.
The date of my return is ... I don't even think he's cleared yet. I don't even think he knows.
I mean, I think they were saying for him the fall.
I saw Philip or PT Carroll said the fall or early next year. He said he doesn't expect him to fight.
Do it after football season. It's so much better when it's not during football season, in my opinion. Because it's just football is the thing that I think back is the Conor Khabib. Obviously that whole build up, but for me it was just I mean, I'm biased because I'm an American football fan, but it was just during so many things going on. It was October and 5th or something.
It was around that time. October 7th, maybe.
Conor Khabib. It was in October, early October. Yeah. And it was on a college football Saturday night. Obviously the Conor was the main event, but
see, it's only nice because when by the time he fights, Hawaii is the only game on.
I know, but
when he fights at 12:30, 1 a.m.
But I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of just random hype videos for that Conor Khabib before. There's so many talented people on YouTube who just make hype videos.
I was in a couple of them for the protests.
I
took big pride in that when I would be putting a fan edit. I was like, fuck yeah.
It's so funny. Every fan edit just has the same comment. It's UFC, are you watching? Fans kill your promos. Yeah. It's they comment on every single one. But there's some good guys out there that just kill those edits. And shout out to them.
This one was just a quick backwards riddle that Rose
put out. Love this.
She did not win the fight, Rose Namajunas says. I didn't feel like I won, but Carla also didn't win, but I also don't feel like I lost.
I agree with her, though.
Yeah, she weirdly made no sense, but perfect sense.
But in a weird way, yeah.
If Buffer read that out, and was Yeah, no one won this fight, and it wasn't even a
And
draw.
the winner just like it's like a draw, but
No
the
one.
belt's vacated.
Yeah. It's just like nobody. And
Dana's like, I'm taking it away.
Yeah, just
I will say shout out to Rose, and it's something that we talk about sometimes with fighters. And I think I mentioned this last show or 2 shows ago, how like their post press conferences are post.
Yeah, like
fight.
still emotional. Maybe
They're still emotional. They're still adrenaline, and they think they won. They don't know if they actually won. I think I was talking to Large about it, and he was like, because he used to box, and he was like, sometimes you'd be in big fights and you just think back and you're like, did I win? Did I win? And I think Rose didn't even get to rewatch it. Then she did, and she's like pretty clear, like, I didn't win it. Yeah. So maybe
even
she didn't.
Caitlin Chukagian, she said in her post-fight interview, they were like, what'd you think of your performance? She's like, I don't know, I blacked out.
At the end.
oh yeah, she did say that.
Yeah, I tweet. Yeah, I mean, I was on Reboss, so I said 30-27 on Twitter just to get a response from people, but I thought that was
see that thinking back. Yeah,
I do. Shout out to Chugay. She's just great, a great fighter. And I actually watched her and her husband have like a little podcast.
Yeah,
and it's actually pretty. It's actually like really good.
A couple Long Islanders.
Yeah. So, but
this one is something that I feel like we kind of assumed. Dating back to UFC London, I remember someone was like, "Hey, Joanna versus Zhang 2. It's going to be." A 3-rounder this time. What about making that a 5-rounder? Because the last 3-round fight was so good. And Dana was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll look into it. And then we heard that's not happening. And everyone kind of said the same thing. Like, did the UFC say, hey, do you want to do that?
Yeah.
And they said, why don't you pay us some more? And the UFC said, nah, we're not going to pay you anymore. So Joanna said she'd do it if they paid him more.
See, I can't fault her for that.
Of course. It was a war.
Like,
you want to get into a bigger
2 more rounds.
I need hematoma like Megamind.
Like 2 more rounds. I need 40% more money. It's 40% more rounds.
Fact. That's almost another whole fight when you put it like that. So I don't think she's crazy for saying she would want more money for more fighting.
Imagine it's like if you working 40 hours a week and it's like you have to do 60 next week.
It's like you were real good last week, so you want to work overtime?
And it's like, okay, yeah, but what are you paying me? They're like, oh no, same rate.
That being said, I would like the UFC to pay them more for a 5-round fight.
Oh, I think
I want to see that 5 rounds.
Yeah, for sure.
It's an awesome fight. And then the final news topic. This one is a bit sad, just like brutal to talk about. Cain Velasquez denied bail overall.
And I was reading some stuff that they thought there was a chance that he was going to get it.
A lot of people thought they were going to get it. I think the judge even brought up that like he could have CTE that led to irrational decisions.
That may help him in court.
Will it help him or will it hurt him?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I think you can plead insanity.
But you don't want that.
You don't want to do that. I don't think Cain wants. I think Cain wants to say like I'm not a danger to anyone in the world.
Okay,
except for that one guy that was fucking with my kid.
That's fair.
And that's why it's such a tough thing because I tweeted like he's not a danger to anyone. Cain Velasquez, if you let him out on the street, I'm not worried that Cain Velasquez is coming after me with a gun.
No.
But he did shoot on the highway like while he was driving. So you could say he literally was a danger to the public.
I wish you just beat him up, man. Like, I'm just like, fuck, man.
Why didn't you beat him up? Why didn't you corner him and beat him up? Why did you
also just extremely
involve a gun?
Just extremely unfortunate that he shot the wrong guy as well.
I think
he shot the alleged perpetrator's father.
That's another thing where he is a danger to people other than that guy.
But I guess the grandfather is the guy who ran the preschool or like nursery.
Is that
who employed his son?
Okay, that's
where the alleged incident.
Shitty. Just like anytime we talk about it, have to think about it. It makes you feel like gross inside, even just talking about the story because of all of the like actual victims that are involved here.
Exactly. It's awful,
but it's fucking brutal that he can't even get bail. Like I just saw Sunny from the WWF, who was like back in the 90s. She was like the Trish Stratus almost, like the girl all the guys loved. Has like 8 DUIs, just killed someone in a DUI.
Yeah,
and initially got bail. She just got it revoked and taken away, which is right. That's the thing they should have done. But like when I see her getting bail after killing somebody in her 8th DUI, and then Cain Velasquez get denied right away, it's just like, what the fuck's happening here?
I mean, I bet it's like comes down to state judges.
Yeah, this is California. People are saying that too.
Yeah, and I don't. Where was Sonny?
Atlanta, I think. Or
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, no, I think it would actually be reversed because, like, I would assume that more conservative states like Georgia have tighter bail, bail. But again, I don't know. Like, there's so many things that go into this. If I'm sure there's probably like lawyers out there who've broken it down that you could
Probably
could
people
search.
much smarter than us.
Oh,
but
much smarter. Yeah,
just from the outsider, like idiot perspective, it's just frustrating to see.
100%.
It's just weird gray areas with this
Yeah.
shit. Because obviously you understand like the public perception,
Of course.
but at the end of the day, that doesn't really
The
matter.
public, everyone pretty much goes like, all right, he went crazy in that moment, but it's understandable if you find
Like
out someone is doing that stuff to
hoping,
your
I'm
child.
hoping even at like worst, even if he's convicted, I'm hoping that they just have some mercy on the sentence
I know.
at absolute worst.
Yeah,
So I mean, technically, I guess. So would he be charged with essentially attempted murder?
I guess so.
Because he
And,
chased him and shot him. He didn't die.
He's
Like,
probably already been charged with something.
some
because-
sort of
yeah,
endangerment.
like-
well, that's
because
what I
of
mean.
being on the
Yeah.
highway,
Attempted
yeah.
murder, I would think, is the charge.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with speaking of MMA, UFC, the Brendan Schaub stuff?
Not entirely.
Yeah.
From the outside, the
I mean,
Bobby Lee
yeah.
stuff, I've heard, the broad strokes of he wanted to get with Bobby Lee's girl. He's
Yeah.
accusing Bobby Lee of running Reddit accounts against him to turn
Yeah.
his fans against him and
Yeah.
stuff. Seems crazy.
Yeah. It's just wild, like that world. I mean, he went from like a pretty average UFC fighter,
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
good.
knocked
yeah.
out Krokop with a head
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah.
He lost he got knocked out by like Travis
Travis,
Brown,
that was a bad
badly,
one, yeah.
but
and
he,
somebody else.
And then Rogan hit him with the most brutal knockout of all when he said, "I think you'd be surprised."
yeah.
Wait, what?
He had Schaub on his podcast and basically told him, "You need to retire."
Yeah.
And he's like, "How do you think you would do against someone?" I think it was Johnny Hendricks. He's like, "How do you think you would do against someone like Johnny Hendricks in a straight wrestling match?" And Brendan was like, "I think I'd surprise people." Rogan's like, "I think you'd be surprised."
Yeah.
And it just cut to Brendan.
Wait,
Schaub
saying
where he's
just
like-
saying fighting someone that much smaller,
saying like I think he would fuck you up, basically.
saying a middleweight, because I mean,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Well, he.
I think
Hendricks, big
Rogan was
middleweight, but
saying-
no,
yeah, still.
for sure. But
I think Rogan was saying to him, I mean,
Might not have been him even, but it was like
Basically
someone
just
where
saying,
he
like,
was like,
well, that was more. Was that him just saying like, I'm seeing the new like parts of your career, baby? Like you had a
Rogan
better
was
chance
telling
with
him,
that.
"You need to retire." He was saying like, "Your career's over, dude," and he did it live.
yeah.
And that was like in the moment was a big like Brennan felt like people weren't like sticking up for him because Callan was on the podcast too. I think someone else was on the podcast. He was
Yeah.
kind of looking at them like, "What the fuck, guys?" Like he's like, "No, I still got
I
it."
think it was like a fight companion.
That wound up
Mhm.
like leading to his literally he retired after that.
I'm sure he's happy about it now.
Definitely.
The only thing is now, he got into this world and kind of got pushed by Rogan, which has benefited him. But then also it's like a double-edged sword. Like
He's in
he-
such a spot. Yeah.
I don't like Brendan Schaub. To me, is just I always thought he was good on Rogan and didn't really listen to his podcast. His comedy isn't great. Comedy's really hard.
So hard.
and
People
in-
hate him.
but
People
people
despise him.
despise
I feel like
him.
MMA people really hate
They
him.
do.
They don't like him at all.
And the
And
Reddit
he's never
online.
bothered me ever. Maybe it's because he's like been in Barstool. He's friendly with KFC. I've been able
Yes,
to like
exactly.
do KFC radio with him. Always been nice to me. And like even when he remember earlier this year, maybe late last year, he like saved those kids from a burning car.
oh
Yes.
yes,
I remember
yes.
people immediately being like, let's look up the facts of his story. His story doesn't line up. Like
That
he's probably
is
lying
true.
and all that. And it's like everything this guy does, he literally saved children from a burning car, like fucking you would expect Superman to do. And people are just like, fuck him. He's not even fucking funny. Let me give him a 1 star on IMDb.
Yeah.
It's like I never understood why he became such a public enemy #1 for.
I think
MMA
some
fans.
people, from the perspective of others, this isn't mine. It's more so like they think he steals jokes, which then again, it's very.
That's a big no in the comedy scene.
But like the ones that I've seen also are kind of like I could see how this one could be not stolen, but if there's a lot of examples, he's almost kind of like Tito Ortiz a little bit.
Oh, that's not a good comparison
Because
for him.
Tito, like you know how like Tito, like his English is just not great.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, or like
Even
he
though
does.
he is American.
Yeah, but he
English
like
is his first language.
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub.
Basically, just doesn't speak well.
Brendan Schaub does not speak great. And then I think people are also, it's a little bit of like he got the Rogan privilege where Rogan pushes him.
Like he got into Rogan so early in his career, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Have you seen his subreddit too?
That's what, so that's the,
It's like 10
Not a Reddit
trillion
guy.
billion times worse than the Barstool Reddit. Barstool Reddit, they'll be brutal towards some people. They'll pile on and whatever. They have their people that they like and they don't like. The Fighter and the Kid subreddit is exclusively dedicated
I
to
know.
hate on Brendan Schaub and
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub slander.
So
if
that's-
you post anything even slightly like
It's
neutral about him in there, you're getting banned.
at least on our,
The other crazy thing is too, I've heard like he doesn't do social media like he does like what he needs to do, where like they post like
smart.
promoting his clips and like stuff like that. he doesn't like consume social media like
good because he
whatsoever.
gets trashed like
Like, at
nobody
all.
else.
At all.
I don't think he's deserving of it. I'll say that.
We'll probably be on the Fighter and the
I
Kid
know
subreddit.
People are gonna come at me now, but
And then they're gonna say we have bad internet because
that's
not our fault. Hey, the Fighter and the Kid. If you put us on the subreddit, just put like a little note, like the internet's not their fault. But yeah, I mean, that subreddit, I am subscribed to it. It's
just crazy how much they hate him.
They really, at least on Barstool subreddit, like our Barstool Sports. I mean, they hate me, but there are like it's complimentary towards people like or Barstool.
Some people,
yeah. And they'll be like, "Oh, that was cool, Barstool moment." The Fighter and the Kid has there's not like, "Oh, that was so funny from Brendan that episode."
No,
they really dislike him. It was funny. He was in the office a day before all that stuff happened with Bobby Lee. I guess like Brendan is accusing potential like lawsuits. Then I guess Bobby Lee's like, "How could I mastermind the subreddit if I don't know how to email people," which is a pretty good defense.
But I heard like the IP address.
I know,
but the Reddit goes back to Bobby Lee's place or something.
But then, yes, that is true. And then credit to Brendan, he went on Bobby Lee's wife's podcast with Bobby Lee, and then she was like,
to talk about this.
Yeah. He's been on a bunch.
Wasn't it? I saw something. I didn't watch the video. I saw like a headline on YouTube, a video being like, some of like Brendan Schaub like bullied them or like bullied him.
I did see, yeah.
Bobby
Lee.
I thought flipped.
I was like, how
flipped, but it's also
how could a grown man?
Both are saying they're getting bullied, but Bobby Lee is saying,
I get it when you're a kid. Like if you're like you're like 35 years old. How are you getting bullied?
Former UFC heavyweight.
I think the lawsuit.
Just leave.
No, I think the lawsuit. It's the lawsuit thing that is potential. The bullying with the IP address, but then the woman who's Bobby Lee's wife, who also has a podcast, Trash Tuesday or something, with 2 other female comedians, where that's also connected.
Real murky for me in my brain now. I'm like,
the only thing is about the IP address. I do want to add this. He said the part of the not the lawsuit, what they sent to them was like, this IP address has been connected to this person for 5 years, or like the subreddit for 5 years, but the IP or the Bobby Lee and his wife have only lived in the house for 2 years.
Oh.
So it's another.
Wow.
We're going to need to put our Sherlock Holmes hats
This is why people are obsessed by it. But
this is something.
I like Bobby Lee. I like Brendan Schaub. It's never been mean to me or anything. I don't know if I like him.
That'd be crazy if he came at you.
Sweet fuck Jack, man.
A lot of people have come at me. But I've never ran. I've never ran in.
I gotta be honest. I don't really know Bobby Lee very well at all.
He's funny.
He's a funny guy.
Literally,
he's part of that kind of.
You would know him if you've seen videos.
From the thumbnail I saw of him. If I hadn't seen that thumbnail, I don't know if I could have picked him out of the lineup. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just not familiar with Bobby Lee whatsoever.
He does a podcast with Andrew Santino. That's really funny.
I know Andrew from Dave.
Yeah.
I know Andrew Santino.
Yeah, they do a super funny podcast together. I believe it's Trent's favorite podcast.
Shout out Trent.
What's it called?
Yeah. Like Best Friends or like
nice.
Something Friends. But that was the Spinnin Backfist MMA show, the first independent Spinnin Backfist MMA show produced by us. I know the video is choppy. We could see it now. It looks like we did a stop motion show, but we heard the audio was fine.
10 FPS.
With us, thank you. We appreciate it. And we're just going to keep getting better. So tune in on Thursday. Follow along on our social media pages.
And I think the internet's going to be better
when we're going live. Yeah, people will be out of the office.
I think on Thursday will be better. And the internet here is
it's awful.
It's
awful.
Thank you for tuning in, though. I'm going to get up and go press stop because that's
comment, please.
Subscribe, all that.
Spam the comments. Subscribe.
Share, smather a lot.
My mom's basement, not my mom's backfist.
Well, that works.
If you type in Mama's Backfist, it'll probably come up. Love you guys. God bless.